But with Vetsie, we consolidate private information too. It's not just scraping Google because all of us can Google. We're building together amazing knowledge partners who have said, Andrew, we recognize the vision of Vetsie. We recognize the value. We want to share our knowledge so that more veterinarians can help more pets. And then we leverage AI to make all of that quickly scannable and searchable. Absolutely. I can say confidently, and you can quote me on this, come back 10 years from now, and I can say AI will not replace veterinarians, human doctors.
Yeah.
Again, AI is great. AI is a accumulation of the average, as it were. Yeah. So again, this comes back to grit and saying that like stick
Yeah.
it out. I've seen many ideas that were the right idea just a tiny bit early, and the founders kept pushing on. Again, Vetsie's a 4-year company, but as of now, with our latest push, we're just a couple months old. So I get encourage people, don't give up. I'm actually working with another CEO. She is incredible, Varnett. She has pivoted as needed. She's continued to push. She's come up against hard deadlines.
Mm-hmm.
Every time through, I swear, sheer force of will, she
Yeah.
triumphs and continues to become more and more successful. That's
Mm-hmm.
why, again, it always comes back to grit. Like the road will be hard. It will be worth it.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, just don't give up. That's the key.
Hey guys, before I start the podcast, a quick introduction. My name is Warneth and I'm the founder of Pet Excel Marketing. Pet Excel Marketing is a marketing agency that specifically works with pet businesses. Over the years, we have worked with pet food brand, pet relocation businesses, pet SaaS companies, pet clothing brand, cat food businesses, dog grooming services, and many other product and service-based pet businesses globally. Our services includes everything from creating graphics to running your ad campaign. Not only that, we have built amazing websites and apps for pet businesses. So if you have a pet business and would like us to help grow it, click on the first link in the description to book a call with our team. Now enjoy the podcast. Hey guys, welcome back to Pet Brand Podcast, where we bring you in-depth conversation with the leaders, founders, and innovators shaping the pet industry. Today, I'm your host Warneth, and in this episode, we dive into actionable insights, stories, and strategies that can help you grow and scale your pet brand. So today, I'm thrilled to be joined by Dr. Andrew Findlaytor, the founding veterinarian and clinical lead at Vetsie Pet Care. Dr. Andrew has an impressive track record in product development, digital innovation, and building strategic partnership that elevate animal healthcare on a national scale. Today, we will be discussing his journey as a veterinarian and entrepreneur and the story behind Vetsie and how he's leveraging technology to solve real world challenges in the veterinary industry. Dr. Andrew, welcome to the Pet Brand Podcast.
Thank you so much for the invitation. I'm really happy to be here, Varnett. This is going to be great.
Definitely, definitely. And yeah, before we dive into the product itself, I want to start at the very beginning of your journey. Every great company begins with a spark, a problem that someone decides to solve, right? So can you take us back to the moment when the idea of Vetsi first came to you, and like what problems were you noticing in veterinary practices that inspired you to build this specific solution?
I love it. So solve customer problems has always been my North Star. My dad's raised me that way since I was little, which is the best companies just want to help. They want to grow by solving problems. So as a veterinarian, I've worked at all over the place. I kind of went on a quest early in my career to see all the problems I could find in vet med. I've worked at almost 100 hospitals, Barnett. I've done
Wow.
GP, ER, shelter, rural, again, went all over the place. And I noticed two things. One, that there was thousands, tens of thousands of amazing veterinarians and pet owners who all love their pets quite a bit. But two, I noticed that the burden of knowledge, just what I'm expected to memorize as a veterinarian, it's just always climbing higher and higher, and it always causes stress. Most people don't know this, but as a veterinarian, I am licensed to practice medicine on every single species on the entire planet
Wow.
that's not
Wow.
humans. Although most people do dogs and cats, if you bring me a snake, I'm
Wow.
supposed to know that. I've worked on goldfish. Most people don't know this. I've done ultrasounds on koi. Again, one of the
Wow.
amazing things about being a vet that's a lot of fun, but it,
Mm.
it got to be mentally taxing. So my aha moment was saying as a vet, I don't want to memorize everything. I want to have a quick knowledge base to find solutions so I can help pet parents faster and again solve their problems.
Wow, wow, wow. And once that initial idea was formed, your unique background as both a veterinarian and entrepreneur must have played a crucial role in shaping it, right? So as both a veterinarian and entrepreneur, how did your clinical experience shape your vision for Vetsi?
Oh, I love that question. So, the way that it shaped it was by recognizing that as a veterinarian, this is something I've told many people. People think, oh, it's almost like an episode of House. I've got one case and I get to sit around for hours, like trying to figure it out and
Yeah.
realize, oh, it's Lyme disease, rheumatoid arthritis.
Yeah.
No, as a veterinarian, I have to solve 30 small problems, more or less in a 15-minute section. I have to get to know the owner. I want to hear about their background and grow attached to them. I got to hear about the pet. I got to hear about what's actually happening. I got to look at the pet. I've got to work all these small
Mm,
problems.
mm.
So whatever I needed had to be wildly accurate and just as importantly, wildly fast. Again, in veterinary medicine,
Wow.
I get 5 minutes to make a medical decision and then we're off running to the races. So whatever I built, I knew that it needed to be effective and fast, which was really exciting as a challenge to kind of work around.
Wow. Wow. And what were some of the earliest challenges you faced in taking Vetsi from concept to reality?
Yeah. So one of the challenges that we face quite a bit is helping people understand not only what we're doing, but what we're all about. You and I both know, Varnit, in 2025, we've seen an explosion of AI companies.
Yeah.
Some of
Yeah.
them are really cool, and others I'm like, I don't actually know that this is a company. I
Yeah.
think that this is a thing, we'll say.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for us, it was really packaging our message. Owners don't know this, but there's a growing term in veterinary medicine that's very near and dear to my heart called spectrum of care,
Wow.
which is basically saying, hey, as a veterinarian, if you bring me your pet and it's sick, I don't want you to feel like we always have to do the most expensive option. I'm going to work with you as a person. I'm going to give you customized medical care and
Mm,
say, hey, the best thing would be to spend $200 on a splint, we'll say, for a broken bone. If you don't
mm.
have that, here's bandages. You don't have that, here's how we're going to work our way through. So one of the challenges that we faced early was really helping people realize we're not just an AI company
Yeah.
that's here to look new. Again, we have a problem that we're
Yeah.
obsessed with solving, and it's providing affordable, accessible healthcare to pets.
Yeah, yeah. And the veterinary industry is definitely, it's facing real challenges today, from burnout and staffing shortages to increasing, client demands. That context makes Vetsi's mission even more important. The veterinary profession is, since it's under like significant pressure, how does Vetsi help address these specific challenges?
Yeah, so stress and burnout are absolutely extremely high line items. Most people don't know this, but veterinarians often come up second in the rate for suicide for professionals. It's
Oh.
it's been a major thing for us, a major thing for us to handle.
Hmm,
Um,
hmm,
Betsy, again, as a veterinarian, we're terrified of doing the wrong thing. I'm sure human doctors feel the same way. Actually, I'm sure many professionals feel the same way. But there's extra emotional hurt that can happen when you have a really cute patient and everything doesn't go as planned or you weren't able to save them like you hoped. So I'm hopeful that Vetsi reduces that stress and burnout by, again, helping veterinarians realize we have more tools in our toolbox than we realize. And again, allowing us to be humans. My wife jokingly tells me I get in doctor/finals mode because I'll be like a robot. I'm just so analytical. I'm like, I
hmm.
haven't eaten lunch, I haven't breathed, I'm just in full doctor mode. I'm
Wow.
hopeful that tools like Betsy allow us to walk that line back and forth. Well, I'm not a walking encyclopedia all the time. I'm
Hmm.
a person, I'm a human, I'm a pet lover, I'm an advocate and a veterinarian with this really amazing tool that helps support me.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want to touch on the mental aspect of it because this is the second time that I'm hearing about the suicide cases. Uh, what do you think? Like, what are the key main reason for that? Like, why does it cause so much, a stress in a veterinarian's life?
Yeah. So there's a couple of reasons for that. One, in general, veterinarians tend to rank very high IQ and very high EQ, meaning if you
Wow.
think of like a point system in a video game, they're very intellectually intelligent. We have harder application rates than even human med school does, but they're
Wow.
also very emotionally in tuned. Many veterinarians are introverts who actually care so deeply about animals, they rank them
Wow.
higher than people. So that's definitely a factor that I think plays a part.
Wow.
Another interesting kind of quirky thing about our profession is I don't know if we select for it. I don't know if it's cultural.
Hmm.
Veterinarians tend to be workaholics. I can think of one of my mentors, amazing guy. He works more or less 7 days a week. He's been retired, Varnit, for about
Crazy.
7 years. The man has done
Crazy.
well. He's retired. He still comes into work every single day.
Crazy.
Um, that makes for, again, a really great life when things are going well. But
Hmm.
when things start going poorly, we typically don't have hobbies. We just are veterinarians. It's a whole livelihood. So when
Wow.
things go badly, it can feel like your whole world crumbles down very quickly.
Wow, wow. And many new technology, try to reinvent the wheel, but once of Betsy's strength seems to be that it works with existing systems rather than, disrupting them. So why was it important for you to create a tool that integrates seamlessly with clinics rather than, disrupt their existing workflows?
You nailed it so well. It's really important to me to integrate seamlessly. I value innovation. I think innovation is the fruit of life, as it were. It's so exciting to do.
Mm,
Disruption, on the other hand, I think that if you're a true innovator, you will
mm,
naturally disrupt things because you're doing better and people want to follow you. There's the other side of the train tracks that I'm less a fan of, which is that move fast and break things. We're just going to break things to break it, and then in doing so, we will innovate. That's not the way that I want to take things because, again, we have real lives, real people's families on the other side of this equation. It's not something that I wanted to be careless or casual with, just the opposite. I wanted it to be effective and reliable. And in doing so, we need to be partners with the profession, not predators to it. So we need to come in as collaborators and teammates.
Yeah, yeah. And some people, they worry that AI might replace certain roles in healthcare. But since your mission, seems focusing on strengthening the profession rather than automating that it away. So how do you see Vetsie strengthening, not replacing the role of veterinary professionals?
Absolutely. I can say confidently, and you can quote me on this, come back 10 years from now, and I can say AI will not replace veterinarians, human doctors again.
Yeah,
AI is great. AI is a accumulation of the average, as it were.
yeah,
Medicine doesn't follow the textbook. Medicine often is like, well, we're going to throw this wonky twist into the case, as it were.
yeah.
And for technology as a whole, the technologies that I see do really well don't
Hmm,
work to
hmm.
replace people. They work to elevate people so that they can continue to grow. So I tell people, think of it like tech enabled. When the printing press came out, we didn't say, oh, people will be replaced. The printing press is just going to go on forever. No, like instead, we were able to greatly amplify the magnitude of writing that we had. So instead of everyone sitting around copying what one person said, which was the old school way to do it, we now
Hmm.
got to convert everyone to say, actually, you can all be writers. You can write your own stories, you can write your own journals, whatever it wants to be. I look at AI in the same way. It's going to be an amplifier to give people the bandwidth and autonomy to do the projects they want. It's not going to replace them. And with Vetsie in particular, again, doubling down, my hope is that it makes veterinarians able to see more cases if they want, help
Wow.
more people, offer more spectrums of care so that whether you're rich or poor, you can come into the veterinarian and have a healthy pet of any species. That's what we're after.
Wow, wow. And one of the most powerful aspect of Etsy is an AI-powered clinical library, right? Which gives veterinarian answers in seconds. So can you walk us through how the AI-powered clinical library actually works in a fast-paced practice environment?
Absolutely. So in the old days, i.e., 9 months ago, a year ago, depending on how you want to look at it, if I had a question on how to manage a diabetic ketoacidosis patient, which is a very complicated
Okay.
case, treatable,
Okay.
but becomes very expensive very quickly, my options were to go find textbooks on my bookshelf.
Crazy.
Everyone has like a bookshelf of old books. I'm going to
Yeah.
go through the index and I'm going to spend 10, 15 minutes finding it, only to look at the back of the book and be like, wait, this book was made in 1995. I don't even know if this is current anymore.
Wow.
Or I could jump on the internet, try to find peer-reviewed articles, but as you know, many of them cost money, or you have to get in through the university system, or literally phone a friend. We're not going to replace phone a friend. Again, there are many wise vets out there that I love their advice on.
Hmm.
But with Vetsi, we consolidate private information too. It's not just scraping Google, because all of us can Google. We're building together amazing knowledge partners who have said, Andrew, we recognize the vision of Vetsi, we recognize the value. We want to share our knowledge so that more veterinarians can help more pets. And then we leverage AI to make all of that quickly scannable and searchable.
Wow. Wow. Um, Dr. Andrew, this section is about building and scaling the brand. Building a brand in the B2B veterinary space is very difficult, from creating a customer facing support. It requires trust, credibility, and real world results. What has been your biggest learning in building a brand for veterinarians as opposed to, let's say, to journal consumer facing product?
Yeah. So interestingly enough, with consumer-facing products, I've seen success in leaning into the niche, i.e., if we're trying to build a marketing website for dogs, you and I might sit down and be like, actually, bulldogs have like the best LTV and the lowest CAC, and I'd be like, we're going to go all in on bulldogs because they're cute, they're fun, and we have a large population of people who are really passionate about that.
Yeah.
With veterinary medicine, it's almost the opposite. We're not a huge industry, but each vertical, each little group is so uniquely different. Large animals who do cows versus horses versus dogs and cats. And even from a state level, I can tell you, Varner, when I was working at Rue, I helped grow that company from one state to over 30 states. We grew
Wow.
massively. I kept building business plans that said, okay, we're going to launch in a state. This is going to be our business plan. And then we'll just copy paste that business plan everywhere else.
Hmm.
Barnett, every state we launched in, to some extent, I had to go back to the drawing board. New York versus Florida versus California versus Denver and everything in between.
Wow.
Every state is so different that it's been a delight, but you always have to be on your toes and basically
Yeah.
innovate in the moment, which again goes with entrepreneurship.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. And what specific strategy did you use to secure early adopters? or like and gather like feedback during your initial rollout?
So we have a really strong group of early users. I'm really thankful for all the feedback they provided.
Mm,
It comes from, again, our messaging that we're by the industry, for the industry. And as a whole, even though we're a technology company, we are people first, exactly like you mentioned. We're not here to replace people. I'm here to reduce the pain and suffering of animals and the pain and suffering of
yeah,
veterinarians. I
yeah.
want it all together. There's plenty of times that you should be
Mm,
greedy in life. I'm going to be greedy with this and
mm,
say, I want to reduce everyone's pain and suffering.
mm,
When people have that light bulb moment where they're like, this is what this company's about, they're here to make a
mm,
difference. That really has been key for our early adopters.
mm, mm. And as of right now, like what has been your most effective channel for reaching and engaging with veterinary professionals?
I really like multimodal approaches because, again, in 2025, everyone is running at wildly different paces. So we do webinars. We've got a
Wow.
subset of people who just love tuning in. I
Mm,
love doing fireside chats, which again gives me the opportunity to interact with people.
mm,
And then in person as well. Again, I'll knock on hospitals. I'll spend time in community events.
mm,
Again, when you have a technology company that leverages the idea that we're using technology to enhance people and not replace them,
mm.
it gives you a lot of channels to talk with people. It's really exciting. And working with people like you, again, Barnett, you're a master at marketing. You're a master at this digital footprint stuff. So getting to talk with big brain people like you for areas I'm not experienced in is a
Mm.
game changer.
Thank you so much for that. Talking about the next section, Dr. Andrew, leadership and team building, behind every successful company is a strong team. And building one in like a mission-driven organization, definitely not a small task, right? What qualities do you look for when building a team in a mission-driven company like Vetsie?
Yeah. So I'm a little different from other companies. I've talked to many companies who are like, we want you to be the best 1% at whatever you do. Um, Being the best at something is great, but I'm kind of on the opposite side where I want you to have really strong communication
Yeah,
skills. And as a family, I was raised to believe that grit is something that's really important.
yeah.
Startups are hard, Barnett. You know this, I know this. There's going to be good days, there's going to be some hard days.
The
And I look
highs
for
and the
people.
lows, the highs and the lows.
Exactly. I want my team to have grit to be able to ride the highs, but also keep trucking through at the lows and be able to say, I'm tough. I know it's going to be hard, but it's going to get better. I'm going to push on. And again, having strong communication to leverage that and be like, yep, we're all feeling crummy today. We need to make these deadlines. Here's how we're going to pull an all-nighter. That's what I really look at. It's that founder or builder mindset.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. And also many of our listeners, they are building or scaling their own pet brands. So they are eager to learn from your journey. So what lessons from your journey with Vetsi would you share with other pet brand founders building tech solution for this specific industry?
Yeah. So again, this comes back to grit and saying that like stick
Yeah.
it out. I've seen many ideas that were the right idea just a tiny bit early, and the founders kept pushing on. Again, Vetsy's a 4-year company, but as of now, with our latest push, we're just a couple months old. So I get encourage people, don't give up. I'm actually working with another CEO. She is incredible, Varnett. She has pivoted as needed. She's continued to push. She's come up against hard deadlines.
Mm, mm.
Every time through, I swear, sheer force of will, she
Yeah.
triumphs and continues to become more and more successful.
Mm,
That's
mm,
why, again, it always comes back to grit. Like the road will be hard, it will be worth it.
mm, mm.
Uh, just don't give up. That's the key.
Definitely, definitely. Dr. Andrew, do you think there some of the pet brand that they start their pet businesses and do you think do they make some specific mistakes that you feel like these are very common mistakes that can be easily avoided?
Yeah. So common mistakes that I see, particularly in the pet brand space, is one, not truly solving a problem. I see a lot of solutions looking for a problem. A lot of people who are like, well, I already have X product. How can I sell it?
Mm,
That's not bad. But again, it makes it harder to go through those lows. It works great for the highs, but it makes it harder to go through the lows. The other one is making sure to have a good brand message, story, and almost tone. Again, the way that you communicate with people. I've seen people dump tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands of dollars in paid media ads, which again, from a business perspective, can be wise sometimes. But if you're not coming with an authentic message about what you're trying to solve, it's
mm.
just noise. And we know that people are suffering from essentially like information overload these days. So make sure that what you're saying is something worth hearing.
Wow, wow. And the last question from my end, Dr. Andrew, finally, I want to look toward the future. Veterinary care is definitely evolving quickly, and Vetsi is right at the corner of that transformation. Looking ahead, what excites you most about the future of veterinary care and the role of Vetsi hopes to play in shaping it?
That's a excellent question. The further I look out, the more excited I get. It's actually tomorrow that always stresses me out more, where it's like, well, how are we going to make it through tomorrow? But the future of the veterinary profession is bright. I've seen many reports that say things are going to continue to grow. I've seen
Hmm.
some more pessimistic reports that say, well,
Yeah, yeah.
actually, things are going to get worse and worse. What makes me excited is, again, it comes
Hmm.
back to people. I continue to meet people who, from a young age, have the sparkle in their eye and say, what I want to do with my life is help pets. I'm not sure on the breed, I'm not sure how, but I want to help pets. And I continue to see pet owners who come in saying, this is my pet, this is like my family. How
Yeah.
can I take better care of them? As long as that exists, and I believe it will always exist,
Yeah.
very excited for the future of veterinary medicine. And again, because Vetsie was built to just solve that problem, to say, hey, we want to help pet owners, we want to help veterinarians. How can we make this whole system work with less friction and give people more options so that
Hmm.
they can have
Hmm.
better outcomes? Vetsie will continue to do well. I'm really excited.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I want to touch on that with a different perspective that I've got from, interacting
Yeah.
with other podcast guests. One of the things that they raise is the high cost of veterinary care. So
hmm
how do you think, like, because of high cost of veterinary care, obviously, pet parent would be more concerned to bring them to the clinic. What do you think, like, what's how it's going to impact the veterinary industry?
Yeah, so I agree. Cost of care is high. I might even say, although this would be considered a little eyebrow raising, that costs are far too high. Over the past 5 years, we've seen a lot of really exciting specialized hospital groups pop up that are like, we're going to be the top 1%. Remember, for this one thing, which means we can charge 1% pricing.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see a return. I hope we're going to see a return to where veterinarians are more generalists. Again, it's really exciting for me to hypothetically say, I'm the world's best orthopedic surgeon, and all I do is work on dog pinky toes. And if you bring me your dog's pinky toe, I'll fix it for $3 million. That's cool that someone wants to be that person. Again, I'm not making fun of
Yeah.
them,
Yeah.
but I want us to get back to the old school, almost like you would read like in books in the old days. And there's a reason why veterinarians are always showing up in zombie movies. Veterinarians are born with this MacGyver mindset where it's like, if there's a problem, I can fix it. It may not be shiny, it may be kind of duct tape, but at the end of the day, I'm proud and it worked really well and I helped save money. Veterinary medicine for a while got away from that, where we were almost chasing human medicine. Because again, we're vets, we still have just as much education, we're just as intelligent. So for a while, we kind of were looking at our counterparts in human healthcare and being like, well, they charge a lot. In order to show that we're just as good, shouldn't we charge a lot? And now I think people are recognizing like, no, we don't need to prove ourselves that we don't need to prove that by charging a lot, we're just as good. We know
Mm.
we're just as good. So let's get back to basics and actually solving the problems.
Love it, love it, love it. And guys, that wraps up today's episode. Thank you so much, Dr. Andrew, for your time.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Your journey, experience, and advice are incredibly valuable. And I'm sure our audience of pet brand founders and professionals will take away actionable strategies that they can apply to their own businesses. Thank you to everyone listening. And if you enjoyed today's conversation, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share this episode with fellow pet enthusiasts and pet industry professional. We'll see you in the next episode of the Pet Brand Podcast.